Final Fantasy VII is coming back, kind of as a new game kind of thing. A remake, you might say. It's back. It's back, baby.
Yeah.
My name's Mike Williams. These guys are Jake Wachowski and Liam McKelvey.
Hello.
Hey.
No gamers? I was waiting for a game. I was waiting for a gamers there.
Part one of the fucking intro.
I think whoever's editing this, leave that pause in because that was real.
yeah.
So you guys have been playing Final Fantasy VII, the kind of demo thing.
Yeah.
It's gone out.
So the remake demo, right on, man. Because they dropped it. And like, I don't know, if you've been kind of following Final Fantasy Online, you'll see... Oh, when I say Final Fantasy Online, I mean Final Fantasy's like marketing team. I don't mean Final Fantasy 14. Yeah. Like, first of all, they're giving away a lot about Final Fantasy VII in this Twitter and this and that. There's like Genova, like in the North Crater fight, and like there's loads of bits. And if you're not a Final Fantasy fan, that doesn't mean anything to you, I guess. But they're showing you a lot of the game. They're giving away the secrets, the big twists and reveals.
Yeah.
All in the marketing, right? Under every single one of their posts, though, all the comments, drop the demo. It was like a leak, I can't remember where, Amazon maybe? It leaked somewhere that the demo coming, same as Resident Evil 3, right? So I was like, every single thing about Final Fantasy, it was like, there's a demo on the way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I didn't know whether or not to believe it. I'd already played portions of this demo at 2 consumer shows throughout summer 2019. Just the boss fight though, so I'd assumed it was going to be the same thing, and I was like, take it or leave it. And then no, that's not what happens. Is it? It's the full. Yeah. It's the you get the full intro,
the full bombing mission. That's it's known.
The full bombing mission.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, exactly. Again, if you don't know Final Fantasy, that's quite funny. Yeah, it starts off with the you get that girl with the flowers, whoever she is, and then she's sort of she's being followed by somebody you don't know, and it zooms out, big orchestrated music, and then you see the train chugging along, boom, all the characters making a appearance, and then you're in it, and then it's playing exactly like that, so you're seeing the full...
Yeah. So, Liam, Jake said there that he'd played it a bit in trade shows and shit. Mm-hmm. You were coming in a bit more fresh.
Yeah. First experience like ever with the remake, I guess you can call it.
Yeah.
And it's very faithful, while at the same time adding a few little new surprises. Like Jake said, there's a little scene in the opening CGI movie which wasn't present in the original, which sets the tone a bit earlier, I guess. Yeah. Especially like the stakes for this one character anyway. Yeah. Something's not quite right in her life, and she may be being pursued. Which is, again, like, it's so much sweeter when you know the original story.
So... How have you noticed how closely it sticks to? You said it's pretty faithful, Liam, the game, but does it stick pretty closely in terms of story as well, or has much changed there?
So far, nearly 1 for 1, I'd say.
Right. Okay.
Like I said, a few tiny little additions, which if you haven't played the original, would make no sense to you anyway.
That's it.
But like,
that's what I was thinking just a second ago. Like, if you know the story, if you know like what that means, like that beginning bit with the flower girl, or when it cuts to President Shinra, if you realise like the importance of that, you're like, shit. But if you don't, it's not complicating things. It's not like been put in so it would only make sense if you knew it. It just really helps stuff along. It's like, it is a remake at the end of the day, but I think they're going to take a lot more liberties with like adding additional depth to the story, and like I welcome that. I thought that what they did with that, exactly. So that's 2 for 2 really, because there's a lot of, I think that's one of the decisions that you're going to have to make if you do adapt or change a story. What's going to happen to the original fans? So by the sounds of me and Liam, we're both like, yep.
Yeah. Well, I think there's so much they could have got wrong with it. Do you know what I mean? It's a big fucking move to like remake Final Fantasy VII. So you got to be careful, but also you've got to do something. You can't just stick very rigidly to the basic. They
probably can't, but gameplay would have to change. That,
I
know what you're saying.
So let's talk about that then. The gameplay wise, I mean, just looking on the outside, it looks a little bit like Final Fantasy 15 in terms of how it all pans out when you're actually playing it, like the actual moment-to-moment stuff.
I would say more Kingdom Hearts than Final Fantasy 15 myself.
What's the difference there?
So, Final Fantasy 15, a lot of people complained that was very automated.
Okay.
As in, you could literally just hold down the circle button and it would chain combos together for you.
That's what I did.
Whereas, in Final Fantasy VII, the remake, so instead of being turn-based, like the original is, command menus and all that, this one is real-time, but with pause. So, if you want to...
all the Baldur's Gate fans...
All the CRPG fans here. So it's real time, and you press, I think it's X to attack.
Yeah.
And you can mash that if you want, do a combo. You can change your stance if you want by pressing triangle, which makes you do strong attacks instead. But that leaves you open to attacks from enemies. There's a dodge move in this one, which was also in Final Fantasy 15, but it feels a lot more responsive in this one rather than the big teleport you had in 15.
Yeah.
And so you still have the ATB bar, which is the little timer bar from all classic Final Fantasy games.
Yep.
And it fills up over time, but it's in segments this time. So you can press X, it'll slow the game down to like a fraction of time, and you can go into your command menu, and you have abilities or magic. To use an ability, it'll take up a segment of your ATB bar.
Yep.
Or MP and a segment if you want to cast a spell. Same with an item. If you want to use a potion in battle, you have to make sure your ATB bar is charged and have the right enough segments to use whatever item you want.
So it's kind of like, you can attack and dodge and stuff, but then like a lot of your big primary moves, your big boy attacks like combat arts, like, if you Cloud, your braver attack, which was originally like a fucking limit break, but now it's just like a big special move, or magic, or an item, which threw me off at first. Like, you can't instantly use items. It's like I had low health, and then I was just like trying to survive while my ATV bar was filling up, so I could use an item.
Or so you have to guard in that case and dodge. And if you dodge and guard successfully, it speeds up the charging of your ATB bar.
Right, okay.
You might think, well, what about any of your other characters? Because the original Final Fantasy was like party-based. Well, this is as well, and I think it does it to a really cool success. Like, you can flick between characters in these battles endlessly, seamlessly, just as much as you want if you want. And it seems so fast and like simple, and it's got a purpose ultimately, which I think is a really interesting way to kind of plant the seed there in people's heads that different characters have got different uses and play different. Because I think with most JRPG fans, and I'm guilty of this, you pick your little party. Normally it's like pretty much first party that you get. Maybe you'll make one change or one addition, then you'll stick with them, and then the rest of your roster are just sitting there eating shit, man, doing fuck all. On this, like, so your Cloud, you might think, well, I'll just stick as Cloud all the way through and I'll master him.
Yeah.
But no, there's like enemies that are like flying and you can't reach them, so you'll have to switch to Barret, who's got an arm, which funnily enough is also a gun.
Cool.
So then you can, in the boss battle, like the big scorpion boss battle, there's moments, like whole segments of the fight where the scorpion jumps onto a wall really out of the way, so you're relying on Barrett's abilities or maybe Cloud's magic, right? So like, I felt like I wanted to flip between the two of them a lot. And Leo, I don't know if you were the same, but I'm assuming.
No, like you said, it's very situational which character you control, because you might have a fight where they're all like close range enemies, so Cloud would be ideal because he's got the big sword. You can just slash away at them. But then, like sometimes you have enemies like little drones that float. Cloud can't reach them, obviously, because you can't jump that high with a sword that big. So you have to switch to Barret and use his machine gun arm instead to take him down from a distance. To swap between characters, literally all you do is like hit left or right on the D-pad. That's all it takes to swap character.
No
and it's
radial menu or anything.
There's no transition, nothing. It's like instant swap, and you can swap between them as much as you like, as little as you like. I can see the full game when it's out really encouraging you to swap between characters on the regular.
And another thing that was cool was like, like Leo mentioned, when you bring up the menu and it kind of puts everything down into sort of bullet time and you're making a decision. Well, let's say I was playing as Cloud and I wanted to queue up my spell, let's say fire attack, but then I also wanted to queue up Barret's. I wouldn't have to unpause it, flick to Barret, go to the menu, select Barret's ability. You can do that from within Cloud's menu as well. So you've still got that kind of classic menu management style system as well, without having to give yourself bloody whiplash by changing characters every 2 seconds. So like, the combat was the big change. Everybody was like, how's it going to work? And it's like really fucking cool and legitimizing my hype by the fact that it's really good. It feels really swift, and you feel light on your feet when you're Cloud, and Barret you feel a bit heavier, and there's like heft to the movement. Like, I feel like they managed to really nail that, and it gets me excited then knowing that there's like a whole party of characters that I'm gonna get to play as. Like, I'm actually gonna have to be able to run around as Red 13, or eventually I'll be able to play as like Sid, who's like my favourite character of Fantasy 7. All these different characters. But then I guess that's kind of when you get the big reminder that no, you won't be able to play as Sid in Final Fantasy 7 the remake, because it's just part 1 of the remake, which I guess is the big
the big contention
the
point
big
for a lot of
contention
people.
point for a lot of people.
Are you interested to see? Can you see how perhaps the game will, move away from what Final Fantasy is, the original one, by possibly adding things, making things longer? How do you see that working based on what you've?
Me and Liam spoke
seen
recently about the Shinra building. Right.
Right.
Which is building it takes kind of the end portion of Midgar to new heights, right? Literally and figuratively. And you go up this big, tall building, and there's certain rooms and floors that are blocked off. So even though it's like a 90-floor building, you have access to, I think, about 6 of them or something.
Yeah.
That's a very simple thing to add on to. There's also slums that are kind of mostly 3 or 4 loading screens with a clever backdrop.
Yeah.
If that's a fully actualized like slum, or the train graveyard isn't like a puzzle, it's an area. Like that, they're just a couple of anecdotal things that are on top of my mind. But like I can already see Midgar's massive. That's the thing that kind of the game development in the original was you spent a lot of time in there comparatively to other places, so that's how you felt it was big.
Yeah.
You spent time there. You didn't explore the whole thing. I think you explored hardly any of it really, if you think about it.
Yeah, a couple screens, something like that.
Yeah, some sewers, brothel, graveyard, slums, and then the big building. So if you can explore all sorts of different areas, then
especially if they add in the other sectors and the train. Imagine if you could catch the train.
Oh my god! You could totally see how it could be worthy of the money and the time and effort spent in it if they do that, and that would be cool because it's fresh content, which makes me think they're going to do that, and then it's more of a reimagining at this point.
Yeah,
a reiteration, still very faithful to the core story, but if they're not afraid to add quite a lot, then I think it's kind of the best case scenario.
I mean, speaking as well as how it's expanded, the demo section in the original Final Fantasy VII took 20 minutes, half an hour to get through, whereas in this remake demo it takes almost an hour to get through it.
The boss fight's 20 minutes long. It genuinely is. So like I was saying, I played the demos at consumer shows. They were 20-minute demos. It was just the boss fight. They purposely make.
Was it good though?
Yeah, it was good.
So it's a good 20-minute long boss fight rather than it didn't feel like a bullet sponge or whatever.
No, because it keeps you engaged, because this enemy had different stages, and during different stages it acted differently, so you needed to completely change up how you were playing it, and it acted in a way as a boss fight tutorial, I suppose. But there's parts where it's completely different, and there's parts where you have to literally hide behind debris while big lasers are coming at you and shit like that. Man, it's it's really cool, and I like what they did with the characters as well. I already feel like I'm a lot more interested in Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse than when they were just
they're kind of just side notes in the original.
Yeah, they're 5 triangles stacked on top of each other. But in this, it's Biggs and Wedge got that camaraderie thing, and then you've got Barrett, who's just hilarious. Really, I find him quite funny how he is in this. That's
just they have him and Cloud have banter, just walking around the corridors and in battle.
Yeah,
which isn't in the original, obviously. It adds a lot of depth to their character. There's a sort of a friendly rivalry to them.
Cool.
Whereas in the original, at the beginning, you get the feeling that it's very standoffish, and Barrett absolutely hates Cloud.
So to that end, I feel like it's doing a really good thing of making the impactful moments a lot more impactful.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say what this is. If you're about 90% of people that know about Final Fantasy, you know what it is. But there's one impactful moment of the game which will be a lot more impactful because of the way they've chosen to release the game and introduce the characters. That moment is going to hit 20 times harder because of what they're doing.
It'll be the Empire Strikes Back of Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Compared to just, if you didn't use a certain character in the game, they were just on the side bench, you'd forgotten they kind of existed until it was saying, hey, remember to care about this.
Yeah.
So I like how they've done it, and
you both sound very positive about it.
I am completely sold after playing this demo. Yeah. To be fair, I was gonna get it regardless, but this demo was made me very excited.
I think it would have had to have been a train wreck of a demo to even begin to make you think about the possibility of not buying it.
I also think it was very brave of them to do it, to put out a demo this early, to build hype this early, and raise expectation this early, because it's a meaty demo, like. So, you know, I feel cool about them doing it, but, like, they're being pretty brave. They're showing off all this stuff. In all the marketing push, they're showing off not only part 1, but the stuff that's going to be in other parts. They don't give a fuck, because they know they've got a good game. Like, and they're acting like it, and I can't wait to cover it on the channel more.
They know they've
the full
got a
game
winner.
out?
April 10th, the full game is out.
Yeah.
That's pretty close. That's
It'll creep up, especially with some of the other games we've got coming out. But I'm looking forward to doing a proper little rundown of it, and I'm sure
this game's going to devour my life for a good
between
week
that
or
and
two.
Resident Evil, Liam's got no hope. And it's looking forward to putting some stuff out about it. So
that's what these guys thought about the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo. If you've been playing it, let us know what you thought down in the comments. Remember to like if you enjoyed the video, you know, all that shit. Do you know what? Why don't you send us an email to dearspecialmoves@gmail.com? Do you know what I mean? We'll get it read out on the podcast.
Not everyone's asking for that, are they?
Yeah, exactly. See ya.